Question 1. What was the purpose of the Statute of Clarendon in 1166? A. To define the structure of the royal court. B. To establish clearer boundaries between church and royal courts. C. To reduce the power of feudal lords. D. To introduce new trade laws. Answer. B. To establish clearer boundaries between church and royal courts. The Statute of Clarendon was a set of legislative measures introduced to clarify the jurisdiction of the king's courts over the church's courts and reduce ecclesiastical privileges. Question 2. Detail the significance of the English Bill of Rights in 1689. A. It confirmed the divine right of kings. B. It ended the notion of absolute monarchy and established a constitutional monarchy. C. It granted universal suffrage. D. It abolished the monarchy. Answer. B. It ended the notion of absolute monarchy and established a constitutional monarchy. The English Bill of Rights in 1689 was crucial in limiting the powers of the Crown and laying the foundation for a constitutional monarchy in England. Question 3. Who was the British monarch during the formation of the Act of Union in 1707? A. Queen Elizabeth I. B. King James I. C. Queen Anne. D. King Edward VII. Answer. C. Queen Anne. Queen Anne was the monarch during the formation of the Act of Union in 1707, which unified the English and Scottish parliaments. Question 4. What was the main outcome of the Reform Act of 1832? A. It abolished the monarchy. B. It extended the vote to working-class males. C. It broadened the electoral system, increasing the number of males who could vote. D. It restricted voting rights to landowners only. Answer. C. It broadened the electoral system, increasing the number of males who could vote. The Reform Act of 1832 was a crucial step in the development of a more democratic electoral system in Britain, widening the voter base beyond the landed gentry. Question 5. Explain the role of Britain in the creation of the United Nations. A. Britain opposed the creation of the United Nations. B. Britain was a founding member and key architect of the United Nations. C. Britain joined only after significant amendments. D. Britain had no role in the creation of the United Nations. Answer. B. Britain was a founding member and key architect of the United Nations. As one of the Allied powers, Britain played a significant role in the establishment of the UN, aimed at promoting international cooperation and preventing future conflicts. Question 6. How did the Magna Carta influence English law? A. It introduced the concept of the divine right of kings. B. It emphasized the rights of the monarchy over the law. C. It laid the foundation for the principle of judicial review. D. It established the principle that everyone, including the king, is subject to the law. Answer. D. It established the principle that everyone, including the king, is subject to the law. The Magna Carta, signed in 1215, is a cornerstone of modern English law and is considered one of the first steps towards establishing a constitutional government. Question 7. What led to the Glorious Revolution and what changes did it bring about in British constitutional law? A. It was caused by economic disputes and led to increased taxation powers for Parliament. B. It was driven by religious conflicts and resulted in the establishment of a constitutional monarchy. C. It resulted from military defeat and led to the dissolution of the monarchy. D. It occurred due to foreign invasion and led to the loss of colonial territories. Answer. B. It was driven by religious conflicts and resulted in the establishment of a constitutional monarchy. The Glorious Revolution of 1688 saw the overthrow of King James II in favour of William of Orange, which marked a significant shift towards parliamentary sovereignty. Question 8. Which British Prime Minister played a pivotal role during the Second World War? A. Neville Chamberlain. B. Winston Churchill. C. Clement Attlee. D. Margaret Thatcher. Answer: B. Winston Churchill. Churchill was Prime Minister during much of World War II and is famed for his leadership and stirring speeches that bolstered British morale during the war. Question 9. What are the Chartist movement's main demands in the 19th century? A. The right to bear arms and the right to private property. B. Universal male suffrage and annual parliaments. C. Abolition of the monarchy and the establishment of a republic. D. Increased wages and reduced working hours. Answer: B. Universal male suffrage and annual parliaments. The Chartist movement was a significant working-class political reform movement that sought to expand suffrage and make the political system more democratic. Question 10. Discuss the impact of the Great Famine on British governance in Ireland. A. It led to the implementation of successful relief programs. B. It exacerbated tensions and led to criticism of British mismanagement. C. It had little impact on governance. D. It improved relations between Ireland and Britain. Answer: B. It exacerbated tensions and led to criticism of British mismanagement. The Great Famine had a devastating impact on Ireland, and the British government's inadequate response led to significant loss of life and increased resentment towards British rule in Ireland. Question 11. Who was responsible for the establishment of the British welfare state? A. Margaret Thatcher. B. Winston Churchill. C. Clement Attlee. D. David Lloyd George. Answer: C. Clement Attlee. Post-World War II, under Prime Minister Clement Attlee, the British government introduced significant social reforms that led to the creation of the welfare state, including the National Health Service. Question 12. What was the outcome of the Battle of Waterloo and its impact on Europe? A. It resulted in a French victory and the expansion of the Napoleonic Empire. B. It was a decisive victory for Allied forces, ending Napoleon's rule and leading to a period of peace in Europe. C. It led to the breakup of the United Kingdom. D. It initiated a series of wars that continued for decades. Answer: B. It was a decisive victory for Allied forces, ending Napoleon's rule and leading to a period of peace in Europe. The Battle of Waterloo in 1815 marked the end of the Napoleonic Wars and had a profound impact on the European geopolitical landscape. Question 13. Detail the significance of the Tolpuddle martyrs in labour history. A. They led the first successful strike for higher wages in Britain. B. They were executed for their involvement in early trade union activities. C. They were agricultural workers who were transported to Australia for swearing a secret oath as part of their trade union activities. D. They founded the first Labour Party in Britain. Answer: C. They were agricultural workers who were transported to Australia for swearing a secret oath as part of their trade union activities. The Tolpuddle martyrs became symbols of the labour movement and are celebrated for their role in advancing workers' rights. Question 14. How did the Industrial Revolution start in Britain? A. Through the importation of technologies from France. B. As a result of significant agricultural advancements, that freed labour for industrial pursuits. C. Due to a large influx of gold from the colonies. D. It was spurred by government legislation. Answer. B. As a result of significant agricultural advancements that freed labour for industrial pursuits, the Industrial Revolution began in Britain largely due to advances in agricultural techniques and technology, which increased food production and freed up labour to work in the new industrial factories. Question 15. What was the impact of the Corn Laws on British society, and why were they repealed? A. They led to agricultural decline and were repealed to promote industrial growth. B. They increased food prices, leading to widespread unrest, and were repealed to stabilize the economy. C. They decreased the cost of living and were repealed due to pressure from colonial territories. D. They had no significant impact and were repealed for symbolic reasons. Answer. B. They increased food prices, leading to widespread unrest, and were repealed to stabilize the economy. The Corn Laws, which imposed tariffs on imported grain, were repealed in 1846 following widespread criticism that they made food unaffordable for working-class people and caused economic distress. Question 16. Explain the causes and effects of the English Civil War. A. The war was caused by religious differences and resulted in the establishment of a constitutional monarchy. B. It was primarily fought over economic issues and resulted in increased power for the monarchy. C. The war was sparked by conflicts between the monarchy and Parliament over power and governance, leading to a temporary abolition of the monarchy. D. The conflict arose from foreign invasions and resulted in the division of the kingdom into several independent states. Answer. C. The war was sparked by conflicts between the monarchy and Parliament over power and governance, leading to a temporary abolition of the monarchy. The English Civil War was a pivotal event that drastically shifted the balance of power, ultimately leading to the execution of King Charles I and the establishment of the Commonwealth under Oliver Cromwell. Question 17. What was the significance of the Battle of Britain in 1940? A. It marked the first major defeat of Hitler's military forces. B. It was a significant air battle that thwarted a German invasion of Britain and demonstrated the resilience of British air defences. C. It resulted in a decisive British defeat that hastened the end of the British Empire. D. It led to a treaty that ended World War II. Answer. B. It was a significant air battle that thwarted a German invasion of Britain and demonstrated the resilience of British air defences. The Battle of Britain is celebrated for its crucial role in maintaining British independence during World War II and marked a turning point in the Allies' favour. Question 18. Who was the first female Prime Minister of the UK, and what were her major policies? A. Elizabeth II. She implemented extensive welfare reforms. B. Margaret Thatcher, known for her conservative policies, including economic liberalisation and reducing the influence of trade unions. C. Theresa May. She focused on improving education and health services. D. Mary Robinson. Her policies centred on gender equality and social justice. Answer. B. Margaret Thatcher, known for her conservative policies, including economic liberalisation and reducing the influence of trade unions. Thatcher's tenure is notable for significant economic changes, including privatisation of state-owned enterprises and deregulation. Question 19. Describe the historical context and outcome of the Falklands War. A. The war was fought between the UK and France over territorial disputes in the South Atlantic. The UK emerged victorious, reaffirming its control over the Falklands. B. It was a conflict between the UK and Argentina over the Falkland Islands. Britain successfully defended its sovereignty over the islands. C. The conflict involved the UK and Spain, resulting in the loss of British territories in the Mediterranean. D. The war was a colonial rebellion in the Falklands, leading to their independence from British rule. Answer: B. It was a conflict between the UK and Argentina over the Falkland Islands. Britain successfully defended its sovereignty over the islands. The Falklands War in 1982 reinforced British territorial claims and boosted national pride. Question 20. What were the main provisions of the Good Friday Agreement? A. It was an agreement to establish a shared power structure in Northern Ireland and end sectarian violence. B. The agreement divided Northern Ireland into separate territories governed by Ireland and the UK. C. It established that Northern Ireland would be fully integrated into the United Kingdom without any devolved government. D. The agreement was focused on economic reforms and did not address political issues. Answer: A. It was an agreement to establish a shared power structure in Northern Ireland and end sectarian violence. The Good Friday Agreement, signed in 1998, was a major political development that helped to end most of the violence of the Troubles. Question 21. How did the Suez Crisis affect Britain's international standing? A. It enhanced Britain's reputation as a global superpower. B. It led to a significant improvement in relations with Middle Eastern countries. C. The crisis damaged Britain's international reputation and marked the decline of its influence as a world power. D. The crisis had little effect on Britain's international relations. Answer: C. The crisis damaged Britain's international reputation and marked the decline of its influence as a world power. The Suez Crisis in 1956 highlighted the limitations of Britain's post-war power and strained relationships with both the United States and countries in the Middle East. Question 22. Discuss the implications of the dissolution of the monasteries under Henry VIII. A. It resulted in the strengthening of the Catholic Church in England. B. The dissolution redistributed wealth from the Church to the Crown and secular landowners, weakening the Church's power in England. C. It led to a brief restoration of monastic life in England. D. The dissolution had no significant financial or political implications. Answer: B. The dissolution redistributed wealth from the Church to the Crown and secular landowners, weakening the Church's power in England. This move was part of the English Reformation and had profound effects on the religious and social landscape of the country. Question 23. Detail the origins and outcomes of the Gunpowder Plot. A. The plot originated from a group of English Protestants and resulted in the overthrow of the monarchy. B. It was orchestrated by Catholic conspirators aiming to blow up the House of Lords and kill King James I. The plot was foiled, leading to harsher persecution of Catholics. C. The plot was a successful coup that temporarily established a Catholic regime. D. It was a fictitious conspiracy used by the king to justify oppression against political rivals. Answer: B. It was orchestrated by Catholic conspirators aiming to blow up the House of Lords and kill King James I. The plot was foiled, leading to harsher persecution of Catholics. The Gunpowder Plot of 1605 is remembered annually on Guy Fawkes Night. Question 24. What role did Britain play in the slave trade, and how did it come to abolish it? A. Britain was a minor participant in the slave trade and abolished it without significant internal pressure. B. Britain was a major player in the slave trade but abolished it in 1807 after a strong abolitionist movement led by figures like William Wilberforce. C. The slave trade was exclusively conducted by private British companies without government involvement, ending naturally without legislative action. Britain continued the slave trade until it was forced to abolish it by international treaties. Answer B. Britain was a major player in the slave trade, but abolished it in 1807 after a strong abolitionist movement led by figures like William Wilberforce. This marked a significant humanitarian advancement in British history. Question 25. Discuss the significance of the Battle of Hastings in 1066. A. It confirmed Viking rule over England. B. It resulted in the end of Anglo-Saxon rule and the beginning of Norman governance in England. C. It was a minor skirmish with little historical impact. D. It led to the temporary division of England into independent kingdoms. Answer B. It resulted in the end of Anglo-Saxon rule and the beginning of Norman governance in England. The Battle of Hastings is a pivotal event in English history, leading to significant cultural and administrative changes under Norman rule. Question 26. What were the key factors leading to the establishment of the British Empire? A. The empire was established purely for religious missionary purposes. B. Key factors included maritime exploration, military conquests, and trade expansion. C. It was formed accidentally with no clear objectives or direction. D. The empire was established through peaceful negotiations with foreign nations. Answer B. Key factors included maritime exploration, military conquests, and trade expansion. The British Empire grew through strategic navigation of global waters, establishing colonies, and engaging in trade that spanned continents. Question 27. Explain the significance of the signing of the Magna Carta in 1215. A. It granted the king absolute power over the realm. B. It represented the nobility's acceptance of peasant rule. C. It marked the first time royal authority was formally limited by a written document, establishing the principle that everybody, including the king, was subject to the law. D. It abolished the feudal system immediately. Answer C. It marked the first time royal authority was formally limited by a written document, establishing the principle that everybody, including the king, was subject to the law. The Magna Carta is considered a founding document of English constitutional practice and principles of justice. Question 28. Who were the suffragettes and what did they achieve? A. They were a group advocating for the abolition of the monarchy. B. They were artists promoting British culture. C. They were a militant women's organisation that successfully campaigned for women's suffrage in the UK. D. They were a religious group that promoted female leadership in the church. Answer C. They were a militant women's organisation that successfully campaigned for women's suffrage in the UK. The suffragettes used direct action and civil disobedience to draw attention to their cause, significantly advancing women's rights in Britain. Question 29. What was the role of Winston Churchill during World War II? A. He was a general in the British Army. B. He served as the Prime Minister of the UK, leading the country through the war with his leadership and oratory skills. C. He was a pacifist leader advocating for peace negotiations. D. He was an ambassador to the United States. Answer B. He served as the Prime Minister of the UK, leading the country through the war with his leadership and oratory skills. Churchill's tenure is noted for his inspiring speeches and steadfast determination, which bolstered British morale during a critical period. Question 30. Detail the impact of the Beveridge Report on British society. A. It led to the immediate reduction of welfare benefits. B. It had minimal impact and was largely ignored. C. It outlined the foundations for the modern welfare state, leading to the creation of the National Health Service and other social security measures. D. It focused exclusively on educational reforms. Answer: C. It outlined the foundations for the modern welfare state, leading to the creation of the National Health Service and other social security measures. The Beveridge Report was a landmark document post-World War II that proposed comprehensive social insurance and welfare benefits to combat want, disease, ignorance, squalor, and idleness. Question 31. What triggered the decolonization process after World War II in the British Empire? A. The empire's expansion into Asia. B. Economic prosperity in the colonies. C. Rising nationalism and financial pressures from maintaining the empire. D. An international treaty mandating decolonization. Answer: C. Rising nationalism and financial pressures from maintaining the empire. After World War II, increased nationalist movements in British colonies and the financial burden of maintaining the empire catalyzed the process of decolonization. Question 32. Discuss the impact of the Black Death on medieval England. A. It led to a significant increase in the population. B. It had little to no impact on English society and economy. C. It caused widespread mortality, leading to severe labor shortages and social upheavals. D. It resulted in improved healthcare systems. Answer: C. It caused widespread mortality, leading to severe labor shortages and social upheavals. The Black Death dramatically reduced the population, which had profound effects on the social and economic structures of medieval England. Question 33. What was the purpose and outcome of the Peasants' Revolt in 1381? A. To overthrow the monarchy, which was ultimately successful. B. To reduce taxation and expand peasant rights, which was largely suppressed. C. To support the nobility against the clergy. D. To establish peasant rule across England. Answer: B. To reduce taxation and expand peasant rights, which was largely suppressed. The Peasants' Revolt was primarily incited by oppressive taxes and serfdom, resulting in temporary successes, but ultimate suppression by the nobility. Question 34. Who was Oliver Cromwell, and what was his significance in British history? A. A British poet who wrote about the monarchy. B. A military and political leader who led the parliamentary forces in the English Civil War and later ruled as Lord Protector. C. A monarch who expanded the British Empire. D. An economist who introduced modern fiscal policies. Answer: B. A military and political leader who led the parliamentary forces in the English Civil War and later ruled as Lord Protector. Oliver Cromwell is a controversial figure, known for his role in the execution of Charles I and his strict puritanical rule during the interregnum. Question 35. What is the historical significance of the Royal Society founded in 1660? A. It marked the beginning of the British Renaissance. B. It was a theatrical society that promoted arts in London. C. It is one of the oldest societies for promoting scientific research and has played a pivotal role in the development of modern science. D. It was a political society focused on expanding democracy. Answer: C. It is one of the oldest societies for promoting scientific research and has played a pivotal role in the development of modern science. The Royal Society has been instrumental in fostering scientific knowledge and innovation. Question 36. Discuss the events and significance of the Jacobite rebellions. A. They were a series of attempts by Jacobite supporters to restore James II and his descendants to the British throne, ultimately unsuccessful but significant for Scottish identity. B. They led to the establishment of parliamentary democracy in Britain. C. They were minor skirmishes with little impact on British history. D. They resulted in the successful establishment of a Jacobite monarchy. Answer A. They were a series of attempts by Jacobite supporters to restore James II and his descendants to the British throne, ultimately unsuccessful, but significant for Scottish identity. The rebellions are noted for their impact on British politics and the cultural heritage of Scotland. Question 37. How did the Enclosure Acts affect rural life in England? A. They promoted communal farming. B. They resulted in the consolidation of land into fewer hands, displacing many small farmers and transforming the rural economy. C. They had little to no impact on rural communities. D. They decreased agricultural productivity. Answer B. They resulted in the consolidation of land into fewer hands, displacing many small farmers and transforming the rural economy. The Enclosure Acts were a significant factor in the development of the agricultural revolution in Britain. Question 38. What were the main causes and outcomes of the English Reformation? A. The main cause was economic, and it resulted in the separation of England from the Catholic Church. B. It was caused by political disputes with France and led to increased Catholic influence in England. C. Initiated by Henry VIII's desire for a male heir and ecclesiastical independence, it led to the establishment of the Church of England. D. It was triggered by peasant revolts and resulted in the dissolution of monasteries. Answer C. Initiated by Henry VIII's desire for a male heir and ecclesiastical independence, it led to the establishment of the Church of England. The English Reformation had profound religious, social, and political implications. Question 39. Describe the impact of the Boer War on British colonial policy. A. It had no significant impact on colonial policy. B. It led to the temporary withdrawal from colonial expansion. C. It resulted in a shift towards more conciliatory approaches in managing the empire. D. It triggered an expansionist policy in Asia. Answer C. It resulted in a shift towards more conciliatory approaches in managing the empire. The Boer War exposed the limits of direct military control and led to changes in the way Britain managed its colonies. Question 40. What was the role of the British East India Company in the establishment of British control over India? A. It acted solely as a trading company with no political interests. B. It played a crucial role by using both diplomacy and military force to gain control over vast territories in India. C. It was a cultural organization promoting British values. D. It opposed British expansion in India. Answer B. It played a crucial role by using both diplomacy and military force to gain control over vast territories in India. The British East India Company was instrumental in the expansion of British influence in India through trade and territorial conquest. Question 41. Who was Elizabeth I, and how did she influence the history of England? A. She was a minor monarch with little impact on England. B. As Queen, she established the first English colony in America. C. Elizabeth I reigned during a time of economic decline and cultural stagnation. D. Her reign marked a golden age of exploration, cultural flourishing, and the defeat of the Spanish Armada. Answer D. Her reign marked a golden age of exploration, cultural flourishing, and the defeat of the Spanish Armada. Elizabeth I's leadership contributed to the rise of England as a major world power and a centre of arts and exploration. Question 42. discussed the significance of the Act of Union between England and Scotland in 1707. A. It created the Kingdom of Great Britain, merging the Scottish and English parliaments. B. It dissolved the Scottish Parliament without creating a new unified entity. C. It was primarily a military alliance. D. It led to the independence of Scotland. Answer A. It created the Kingdom of Great Britain, merging the Scottish and English parliaments. The Act of Union was a significant political event that unified Scotland and England under a single parliament, influencing the political landscape of the island. Question 43. What led to the Victorian era's reputation as a period of industrial, cultural, and scientific advancement? A. The era was marked by a significant decline in industrial activity. B. It was characterized by major advances in technology and infrastructure, cultural renaissance, and imperial expansion. C. The era was notable for its lack of scientific progress. D. It was marked by significant isolation from global events. Answer B. It was characterized by major advances in technology and infrastructure, cultural renaissance, and imperial expansion. The Victorian era is celebrated for its contributions to modern industrial society and the British Empire's peak. Question 44. How did World War I affect the British Empire both domestically and internationally? A. It had little impact on the British Empire. B. It strengthened the British Empire's global dominance. C. The war led to significant political and economic strains, contributing to the rise of independence movements in the colonies. D. It led to an immediate disintegration of the empire. Answer C. The war led to significant political and economic strains, contributing to the rise of independence movements in the colonies. World War I had profound effects on the British Empire, weakening its economic position and accelerating decolonization. Question 45. Explain the establishment and collapse of the League of Nations and Britain's role in it. A. Britain opposed the League's formation and played no part in it. B. Britain was a founding member, but the League ultimately failed to prevent World War II, leading to its dissolution. C. The League was a purely economic body, and Britain's role was minimal. D. The League thrived and continues to exist today. Answer B. Britain was a founding member, but the League ultimately failed to prevent World War II, leading to its dissolution. The League of Nations was established after World War I to ensure peace, but it lacked effectiveness and enforcement power, leading to its replacement by the United Nations. Question 46. What were the consequences of the partition of India in 1947 for British India? A. It led to the peaceful transfer of power and stability in the region. B. The partition created India and Pakistan, leading to significant violence and displacement. C. It resulted in the unification of India and Pakistan. D. It had no significant consequences for the region. Answer B. The partition created India and Pakistan, leading to significant violence and displacement. The partition of India was a highly contentious and tragic event, with widespread communal violence and mass migrations. Question 47. How did the Great Depression affect the United Kingdom? A. It had no noticeable impact on the UK economy. B. It led to significant economic growth and prosperity. C. The UK experienced severe economic downturn, high unemployment, and social unrest. D. It primarily affected the aristocracy and had little impact on the general population. Answer C. The UK experienced severe economic downturn, high unemployment, and social unrest. The Great Depression had a profound economic impact across the globe, including in the UK, leading to widespread hardship and influencing economic policy. Question 48. Discuss the changes brought by the Education Act of 1944. A. It decreased public funding for education. B. It established the modern state educational system, including raising the school leaving age and promoting secondary education for all. C. It segregated educational institutions. D. It abolished public education in favor of private schooling. Answer. B. It established the modern state educational system, including raising the school leaving age and promoting secondary education for all. The Education Act of 1944, also known as the Butler Act, was a significant reform in British education policy, setting the framework for the post-war education system. Question 49. What was the impact of the Winter of Discontent on British politics? A. It led to the strengthening of trade union power. B. It had minimal impact on politics and was quickly forgotten. C. The public discontent over strikes and economic troubles contributed to the Conservative victory in 1979. D. It resulted in major educational reforms. Answer. C. The public discontent over strikes and economic troubles contributed to the Conservative victory in 1979. The Winter of Discontent involved widespread strikes by public sector workers and is often cited as a factor that led to the electoral defeat of the Labour Party and the rise of Margaret Thatcher. Question 50. How did the discovery of penicillin by Alexander Fleming impact medical science? A. It had little impact at the time, but became significant centuries later. B. It led to the immediate eradication of all bacterial diseases. C. It revolutionized the treatment of bacterial infections and opened the door to the era of antibiotics. D. Fleming's discovery was discredited and not used in medicine. Answer. C. It revolutionized the treatment of bacterial infections and opened the door to the era of antibiotics. The discovery of penicillin in 1928 by Alexander Fleming is considered one of the most important discoveries in medical science, significantly reducing the death rate from bacterial infections. Question 51. Detail the events and legacy of the Battle of the Somme during World War I. A. It was a minor engagement with few casualties, symbolizing the end of trench warfare. B. It was one of the bloodiest battles of the war, exemplifying the brutal nature of trench warfare and resulting in over 1 million casualties. C. It resulted in a decisive victory that ended World War I. D. It led directly to the signing of the Treaty of Versailles. Answer. B. It was one of the bloodiest battles of the war, exemplifying the brutal nature of trench warfare and resulting in over 1 million casualties. The Battle of the Somme is remembered for its high casualty rates and little strategic advantage, highlighting the futility of trench warfare. Question 52. What led to the formation of the National Health Service in 1948? A. A severe famine that emphasized the need for better public health. B. The recommendations of the Beveridge Report, which called for comprehensive health reforms to eliminate disease and squalor. C. The discovery of penicillin necessitating a new health infrastructure. D. A mandate from the United Nations. Answer. B. The recommendations of the Beveridge Report, which called for comprehensive health reforms to eliminate disease and squalor. The establishment of the NHS was part of post-war reforms aimed at providing universal health care to all citizens. Question 53. Discuss the implications of British nuclear tests in Australia during the 1950s and 1960s. A. They were purely scientific and had no political or environmental consequences. B. They enhanced Britain's relationships with neighbouring countries in the Pacific. C. They led to significant environmental damage and health problems, straining relations with Australia and the international community. D. They resulted in immediate economic benefits for Australia. Answer. C. They led to significant environmental damage and health problems, straining relations with Australia and the international community. The nuclear tests are controversial due to their long-lasting impact on the environment and health of those exposed. Question 54. How did the introduction of the poll tax in 1990 lead to public unrest? A. It was perceived as fair and equitable, leading to widespread public satisfaction. B. The tax disproportionately affected poorer individuals, leading to widespread protests and riots. C. The tax only affected the wealthy, leading to minor complaints. D. It was a well-received adjustment in fiscal policy. Answer. B. The tax disproportionately affected poorer individuals, leading to widespread protests and riots. The introduction of the poll tax, officially called the community charge, was highly unpopular and led to one of the largest peacetime protests in the UK. Question 55. What was the impact of Margaret Thatcher's economic policies on the UK in the 1980s? A. They led to immediate economic decline. B. They resulted in significant economic growth but also increased social inequality and industrial decline. C. They had no noticeable impact on the UK economy. D. They unified the country politically. Answer. B. They resulted in significant economic growth but also increased social inequality and industrial decline. Thatcher's policies, known as Thatcherism, included deregulation, privatization of state-owned companies, and reduction of union power, which polarized public opinion. Question 56. Describe the changes in British immigration policy post-World War II. A. The policies became more restrictive, completely cutting off immigration. B. Britain opened its doors to immigrants, particularly from the Commonwealth, to help rebuild the post-war economy. C. Immigration policies focused exclusively on European immigrants. D. No significant changes were made until the late 20th century. Answer. B. Britain opened its doors to immigrants, particularly from the Commonwealth, to help rebuild the post-war economy. This led to significant demographic changes and contributed to the multicultural makeup of modern Britain. Question 57. How did the Troubles in Northern Ireland begin, and what was Britain's role in it? A. They began as a religious conflict with no political implications, and Britain was not involved. B. The conflict was based on economic disparities, and Britain played a minor role. C. The Troubles started from disputes over national identity and sovereignty, with Britain playing a significant role in both military and political efforts to stabilize the region. D. They were initiated by foreign interventions, with Britain acting solely as a peacekeeper. Answer. C. The Troubles started from disputes over national identity and sovereignty, with Britain playing a significant role in both military and political efforts to stabilize the region. The British government's handling of the situation was often controversial and involved significant military presence. Question 58. Discuss the impact of the Brexit referendum in 2016 on British politics and society. A. It had little to no impact, maintaining the status quo. B. The referendum led to increased political unity and economic stability. C. Brexit caused significant political division, economic uncertainties, and a revaluation of Britain's international relationships. D. It streamlined legislative processes and strengthened ties with the EU. Answer: C. Brexit caused significant political division, economic uncertainties, and a revaluation of Britain's international relationships. The decision to leave the European Union has had profound implications on national policy, economy, and Britain's place in the world. Question 59. What is the significance of the Battle of Agincourt in 1415 to British-French relations? A. It marked the end of hostilities between the two nations. B. The battle was a major English victory in the 100 Years' War, symbolizing English military prowess. C. It initiated a long period of peace and diplomatic relations between England and France. D. The battle had no significance in the long-term relationship between England and France. Answer: B. The battle was a major English victory in the 100 Years' War, symbolizing English military prowess. Agincourt is historically significant for its demonstration of the effectiveness of English longbowmen and is a celebrated event in English military history. Question 60. Who was Richard Arkwright and what was his contribution to the Industrial Revolution? A. A political leader who supported industrial development. B. An inventor who developed the spinning frame, which revolutionized the textile industry. C. A general who utilized industrial technologies in warfare. D. A scientist who theorized about industrial processes. Answer: B. An inventor who developed the spinning frame, which revolutionized the textile industry. Arkwright's inventions significantly increased the efficiency of textile production, contributing to the advancement of the Industrial Revolution in Britain. Question 61. What caused the English Bill of Rights to be drafted in 1689, and what were its effects? A. It was drafted in response to the threat of French invasion, leading to strengthened military policies. B. The document was created to reaffirm the power of the monarchy, reducing parliamentary authority. C. It was drafted after the Glorious Revolution to limit the powers of the monarchy and established the supremacy of Parliament. D. The bill was a response to economic crisis, focusing on financial reforms. Answer: C. It was drafted after the Glorious Revolution to limit the powers of the monarchy and established the supremacy of Parliament. The English Bill of Rights is a landmark document in the constitutional law of the UK, shaping the political system by setting out the rights of Parliament and limiting the powers of the monarch. Question 62. Explain the historical importance of the Anglo-Zanzibar War. A. It was important for its demonstration of naval power, being the shortest war in history. B. It led to significant territorial acquisitions in Africa. C. It was a turning point in the development of international law. D. The war had no significant outcomes and is rarely noted in historical accounts. Answer: A. It was important for its demonstration of naval power, being the shortest war in history. The Anglo-Zanzibar War of 1896 lasted less than an hour, but demonstrated British naval dominance and had implications for colonial control in East Africa. Question 63. What led to the UK's decision to abolish the death penalty in 1965? A. A significant increase in violent crime. B. Public opinion shifted against capital punishment, and the government followed societal trends towards more humane forms of punishment. C. The monarchy mandated its abolition. D. It was abolished due to a treaty with the European Union. Answer: B. Public opinion shifted against capital punishment, and the government followed societal trends towards more humane forms of punishment. The abolition of the death penalty in 1965 for murder marked a significant change in British judicial practices, reflecting broader changes in attitudes towards capital punishment. Question 64. Discuss the significance of the discovery of DNA structure by Watson and Crick at Cambridge University. A. It had minimal impact on the field of genetics. B. The discovery revolutionized biology, providing the foundation for modern genetic research. C. It led directly to the invention of the Internet. D. The discovery was discredited and later proven incorrect. Answer: B. The discovery revolutionized biology, providing the foundation for modern genetic research. Watson and Crick's identification of the double helix structure of DNA in 1953 was a pivotal moment in science, opening up new avenues for research in genetics and beyond. Question 65. Detail the role and impact of the British Royal Navy in shaping the British Empire. A. The Navy was primarily used for scientific exploration and had little impact on empire building. B. It played a crucial role in defending the British Isles from invasion, but was not used in expanding the empire. C. The Royal Navy was instrumental in protecting trade routes, colonizing new territories, and establishing Britain as a dominant sea power. D. The Navy's role was limited to the transportation of goods and had no strategic military purpose. Answer: C. The Royal Navy was instrumental in protecting trade routes, colonizing new territories, and establishing Britain as a dominant sea power. The Navy's prowess allowed Britain to control vast overseas territories and was a key factor in its status as a global superpower during the empire's height. Question 66. How did the Opium Wars affect British-Chinese relations? A. They improved diplomatic relations and increased trade. B. The wars led to significant Chinese victories and the decline of British influence in Asia. C. The conflicts resulted in treaties that favored Britain, including territorial concessions and strained relations. D. They had no lasting impact on the relationship between the two nations. Answer: C. The conflicts resulted in treaties that favored Britain, including territorial concessions and strained relations. The Opium Wars were pivotal in reshaping British-Chinese interactions, leading to increased Western influence in China and significant resentment in the Chinese population. Question 67. What are the origins and impacts of the Commonwealth of Nations? A. It originated from the American colonies and focuses on economic development. B. Founded as a political alliance during World War II, it has little impact today. C. It originated from the British Empire and serves to foster international cooperation and economic support among member countries. D. The Commonwealth was established post-World War I to maintain British territorial claims. Answer: C. It originated from the British Empire and serves to foster international cooperation and economic support among member countries. The Commonwealth of Nations plays a significant role in creating a sense of community among its members, many of which are former territories of the Empire. Question 68. Discuss the historical and cultural significance of the Windrush generation to British society. A. They were primarily influential in the fields of science and technology. B. The Windrush generation refers to post-World War II immigrants from the Caribbean who significantly contributed to rebuilding the UK and influencing British culture. C. This generation was involved in the Industrial Revolution of the 18th century. D. Their significance lies in their contribution to Britain's military during World War I. Answer: B. The Windrush generation refers to post-World War II immigrants from the Caribbean who significantly contributed to rebuilding the UK and influencing British culture. They are an integral part of the story of multicultural Britain, impacting everything from the economy to arts and social norms. Question 69. What was the impact of the witch trials in early modern Britain? A. They led to significant advancements in scientific understanding. B. The trials were a form of entertainment with no real legal or social consequences. C. They reflected and exacerbated social anxieties, leading to the persecution and execution of many predominantly women. D. The trials resulted in the strengthening of the judicial system. Answer: C. They reflected and exacerbated social anxieties, leading to the persecution and execution of many predominantly women. The witch trials are a dark chapter in British history, highlighting the intersection of superstition, fear, and the marginalisation of women. Question 70. How did the Battle of Blenheim in 1704 influence European politics? A. It confirmed French dominance over European affairs. B. It was a decisive victory for Allied forces led by Britain and shifted the balance of power in Europe away from France. C. It had little impact on European politics. D. The battle led to the immediate start of World War I. Answer: B. It was a decisive victory for Allied forces led by Britain and shifted the balance of power in Europe away from France. The Battle of Blenheim is considered one of the turning points of the War of the Spanish Succession, significantly affecting the political landscape of Europe. Question 71. Discuss the significance of the Statute of Westminster 1931 for the dominions of the British Empire. A. It mandated complete independence for all dominions. B. It confirmed the legislative independence of the dominions, such as Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, from the UK. C. It established the British Empire as a federal state. D. It restricted the dominions from enacting their own legislation. Answer: B. It confirmed the legislative independence of the dominions, such as Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, from the UK. The Statute of Westminster marked a significant step in the development of the Commonwealth, acknowledging the autonomy of the dominions. Question 72. How did the Cable Street Battle in 1936 highlight British domestic political struggles? A. It showcased the strength of the British military against internal threats. B. The battle between anti-fascist demonstrators and the British Union of Fascists highlighted the rise of fascist movements and the strong opposition to them in London. C. It led to significant changes in trade policies. D. The battle was inconsequential and is rarely noted in historical accounts. Answer: B. The battle between anti-fascist demonstrators and the British Union of Fascists highlighted the rise of fascist movements and the strong opposition to them in London. The Cable Street Battle is remembered as a key moment of resistance against fascism in the UK. Question 73. What was the purpose of the Poor Laws in the 19th century? A. To provide universal health care. B. To enforce strict immigration laws. C. To provide support for the poor through workhouses, which were criticised for their harsh conditions. D. To abolish poverty completely. Answer: C. To provide support for the poor through workhouses, which were criticised for their harsh conditions. The Poor Laws were intended to manage poverty, but they are often remembered for the cruel treatment of the impoverished in workhouses. Question 74. How did the invention of the steam engine by James Watt impact the Industrial Revolution? A. It had a minimal impact and was quickly forgotten. B. It revolutionized transportation and manufacturing, significantly boosting industrial productivity and efficiency. C. It led to the decline of industrial activities. D. Watt's invention was purely theoretical and not applied practically. Answer: B. It revolutionized transportation and manufacturing, significantly boosting industrial productivity and efficiency. James Watt's improvements to the steam engine were fundamental to the advances made during the Industrial Revolution, affecting industries and transport systems worldwide. Question 75. Explain the significance of the Marylebone Cricket Club in the development of cricket. A. It was primarily a social club with no influence on the sport. B. The club was instrumental in developing the modern rules of cricket and is recognised as the guardian of the laws of the game. C. It opposed the professionalisation of cricket. D. The club focused on rugby and had little to do with cricket. Answer. B. The club was instrumental in developing the modern rules of cricket and is recognised as the guardian of the laws of the game. The Marylebone Cricket Club, MCC, has played a crucial role in the history and development of cricket, shaping the game as known today. Question 76. Detail the contribution of British codebreakers during World War II. A. British codebreakers had no significant successes during the war. B. They played a pivotal role, notably at Bletchley Park, where they decrypted the Enigma machine, significantly aiding the Allied war effort. C. Their work was focused only on diplomatic communications. D. They contributed by intercepting and relaying false information to the enemy. Answer. B. They played a pivotal role, notably at Bletchley Park, where they decrypted the Enigma machine, significantly aiding the Allied war effort. The work of British codebreakers is credited with shortening the war and saving countless lives. Question 77. What was the impact of the gold standard on the British economy? A. It led to immediate economic prosperity. B. It resulted in prolonged economic stagnation. C. Adopting the gold standard stabilized the British currency and economy, but also contributed to economic difficulties during periods of global financial stress. D. The gold standard was purely a symbolic gesture with no real economic implications. Answer. C. Adopting the gold standard stabilized the British currency and economy, but also contributed to economic difficulties during periods of global financial stress. The system linked the value of the pound to a specific weight of gold, which, while stabilizing, also limited economic flexibility. Question 78. Discuss the significance of the Elizabethan religious settlement. A. It mandated that all subjects adopt Catholicism. B. It reconciled Protestant and Catholic practices, establishing the Church of England's structure and doctrines, and enforced religious uniformity. C. It had no significant impact on religion in England. D. It led to the immediate separation of church and state. Answer. B. It reconciled Protestant and Catholic practices, establishing the Church of England's structure and doctrines, and enforced religious uniformity. The Elizabethan religious settlement was crucial in defining the religious landscape of England, promoting a moderate form of Protestantism that became a cornerstone of British identity. Question 79. How did the Battle of Britain influence the outcome of World War II? A. It was a minor engagement with little strategic value. B. The battle marked a significant turning point, as it was the first major defeat of Hitler's military forces and prevented the German invasion of Britain. C. It led to Britain's surrender. D. The battle resulted in a stalemate that prolonged the war. Answer. B. The battle marked a significant turning point, as it was the first major defeat of Hitler's military forces and prevented the German invasion of Britain. The Battle of Britain is celebrated for its crucial role in maintaining British independence and morale during a critical phase of the war. Question 80. What led to the rise and fall of the British Raj in India? A. The British Raj was established and maintained purely through diplomatic relations. B. It was established following the Indian Rebellion of 1857 and fell due to a lack of interest in maintaining the colony. C. It began following the Crown's takeover from the British East India Company after the 1857 rebellion and ended with Indian independence in 1947 due to nationalist movements. D. The Raj was an informal trading relationship with no formal governance. Answer. C. It began following the Crown's takeover from the British East India Company after the 1857 rebellion and ended with Indian independence in 1947 due to nationalist movements. The British Raj was marked by direct British rule and saw significant resistance and calls for independence, culminating in the partition and independence in 1947. Question 81. How did the Zulu Wars impact British colonial policy? A. They had no impact on colonial policies. B. The wars led to a brief period of military rule in all British colonies. C. They prompted a re-evaluation and eventual tightening of control over the British territories in Africa. D. They resulted in the immediate withdrawal of Britain from Africa. Answer. C. They prompted a re-evaluation and eventual tightening of control over British territories in Africa. The Zulu Wars highlighted challenges in managing and controlling distant colonies, influencing British imperial strategies in Africa. Question 82. Discuss the effect of the Clean Air Act of 1956 on environmental policy in the UK. A. It had little impact on reducing pollution. B. The Act was a response to the Great Smog of 1952 and significantly reduced air pollution through regulations on smoke and fuel emissions. C. It focused only on water pollution. D. The Act increased industrial emission standards temporarily. Answer. B. The Act was a response to the Great Smog of 1952 and significantly reduced air pollution through regulations on smoke and fuel emissions. The Clean Air Act was a pioneering environmental law in Britain, leading to cleaner urban air and setting a precedent for modern environmental policies. Question 83. What was the significance of the Battle of Rorke's Drift? A. It was a significant British defeat in the Anglo-Zulu War. B. It was a minor skirmish with no strategic importance. C. The defence of Rorke's Drift against a Zulu attack became a symbol of British military endurance and heroism. D. It led to the end of the Zulu kingdom. Answer. C. The defence of Rorke's Drift against a Zulu attack became a symbol of British military endurance and heroism. The battle, though small in scale, is one of the most celebrated British actions in the Anglo-Zulu War, earning multiple Victoria Crosses for the defenders. Question 84. Explain the historical context of the Peterloo Massacre in 1819. A. It was a peaceful festival celebrating British victory in the Napoleonic Wars. B. The massacre occurred during a pro-monarchy rally in London. C. It was the violent suppression of a peaceful rally demanding reform and extended suffrage, highlighting the need for political reform in Britain. D. The event was a minor disagreement between local merchants. Answer. C. It was the violent suppression of a peaceful rally demanding reform and extended suffrage, highlighting the need for political reform in Britain. The Peterloo Massacre is remembered as a critical event in British history, catalyzing public support for political reforms and the eventual expansion of democratic rights. Question 85. How did the Viking invasions shape early medieval English society? A. They had no lasting impact on English society. B. The invasions led to significant cultural exchanges and the integration of Viking laws and language into English society. C. Vikings completely replaced the existing Anglo-Saxon culture. D. The invasions resulted in the permanent division of England into Viking and Anglo-Saxon territories. Answer B. The invasions led to significant cultural exchanges and the integration of Viking laws and language into English society. The Viking period was influential in shaping the development of the English nation, contributing to its cultural and administrative structures.